Hello, welcome to From ECG. In this quick video, I'm going to show you about a plugin named Blender OSM, which can create a full city using OpenStreetMap data. And you can see this is New York City created using the OSM plugin, and we can explore that. So this is a pretty large scene, and you can see the buildings are pretty good and have a decent shape and very low res mesh. And so this plugin, as compared to Blender GIS, it's pretty good while importing all these buildings, and it maintain all the color information from the OSM data, so you can get different materials for some important buildings. And also the roof shapes are pretty good, and it's supported with a lot of roof shapes, and can get much higher data very fast compared to the GIS plugin, but it has some limitations also. So this is before jumping into the tutorial, I'm going to show you some more scenes also. So this is the default scene came within the plugin data. So you can see it support different rope shapes. See all these rope shapes, and that is very good. A lot of conical and spherical, or whichever you call all these rope shapes, it can import. And it can also import the roads, railways, water, vegetation, all these things. And also it can import the base mesh with the base terrain with the image overlays. So also this is the Paris city I created using. It's a bit very large scene, and I used some tricks to import all these data. So you cannot import all this data at once within inside Blender, so it has very large area. And yeah, so we'll jump into another scene before. So this, you can see same settings, but this has the height map data or the terrain data, and all the buildings are sitting, all the buildings, roads, are everything building on top of this height. And if you go to the textured view, you can see the satellite image also there. And if I use wireframe overlay, so this is very simple mesh, the plane with some extrusion or the displacement is going on. And this very good if you are going to create some cities having all this height and all this data. And the roads created are also, you can change all these settings. You can increase decrease the width if you want. You can add textures, color, everything. You can change the materials, and also the buildings you can add textures and everything. So we are going to check this plugin. So that will be if you search about the Google, you can see the Blender OSM I put, and you can search that, or I will put the description in the link and in the video. You can click that, and that will be two options in the Gumroad and the GitHub. So the GitHub option, it's just only for the wiki information is going. So it has two versions, OSM Premium and the base version or the free version. And only the difference between the free and premium is on the premium version you will get all these textures, like you can it has some buildings textures. So honestly speaking, I didn't check the premium version, but if you want, you can check that. All these buildings have separate images, and all the buildings are UV mapped, perfectly UV mapped for you, so you can add much more textures. You can change that without worrying about UV mapping. So UV mapping all the buildings, maybe thousands of buildings, is going to be a very headache. And also it give you some night shadows also. and only the premium versions you can see the road and all the things changing, and also the forest. It give you some particle effects, and some trees are scattered on top of that, so you will get a forest effect also. And this some areas look like pretty decent, so you can read all these things here. And the base version, it will give you the image overlay, that means the satellite image data or the aerial image, and all the buildings. It will be based on the OpenStreetMap data. This plugin is going to grab all this data and going to generate building based on that data. So if it compared to Blender GIS, Blender GIS only give you the height and the footprint details of the buildings, but this OSM version give you all the roof data also. So it's in my opinion, for buildings, this is one is very perfect. And the height imagery, so you can see the terrain, this so all the same. And this already we discussed about all the shape. This is a default scene, and these are the shape for the roofs supported. I think much more of shapes are supported than this in the current version, so I'm not sure how these roofs are converted inside the plugin. So you can check that in the documentation. I'm sorry, you can click the premium version and the base version. You can see the premium version you have to purchase around $18. That's not much. If you have money, you can purchase that. If you just want to try, or if you don't have money, you can go for the free version. That's in the Gumroad. I will put that both description in the video. You can go there. And it is going to ask for $6+. If you really want this plugin as free, you can put 0 and purchase. So I already purchased, so you can put 0 here, and it will give you purchase option, so you can download, and it will ask for you email and some blah blah option. You can put any email ID there, and that will be downloaded. And if you want to donate some money, you can put that much amount. That all depends on you. If you want to really support this guy, you can do that. If you want to test that, you can put 0, and you test all the Blender inside Blender, and if you really like that, you can come again and you can put a dollar here, some dollar number here, and you can purchase again. So that will go to this guy, and he is going to create much more detailed options for this plugin. So, and also after downloading this plugin, you need to create and go to Blender. You have to go to edit preferences. You need to go to install and select that zip file, and Blender is going to install that. And after that, you have to enable this plugin from here, import export Blender OSM plugin, and it is you need to expand its preferences and give a directory so that this plugin can store the OSM data, the image data, the height map data, so you can access later. So that is very important. And there will be a Mapbox access token data. So if you want all the satellite image, you have to create a token here. So you can click get it from here, or you can go to Mapbox website and create a free profile there. Sign up for a free profile and create a free token. So that is called a free API key. Go there and create a public token, copy that token value and place here, and that's okay. So you can, and there is advanced settings. You can choose the default one there, and if you want much more higher data, you can select whichever server you want. So that's it. And we will start from a new scene, and that will be new general. Don't say okay, delete all these things. You need to call this plugin. So you have to go to here on the right side. You can see a small arrow here, click that, or you can press N, and you can see tool view and OSM. Click that OSM. So there will be some random random coordinates here. So these coordinates are the default scene for this. So that means if you click the import, you will get some settings here. Please mind that you have to connect to the internet, and you have to need to get a decent internet connection, at least 1 Mbps, so all the data can download very fast. So that you have to keep in mind. So if you click import, and it will download all this data, and it will convert all this data into buildings. And so it's very small area, it will be very fast. If you want to try, you can do that. At the first, if you click that, you will get only the flat buildings. So you have to change from the default roof shape to gabled. Only the gabled option give you all the different roof shapes. So that's very, very important. We will use a new scene, and we are going to import all these terrain, image data, and the building data itself. So in the new Blender scene, we need to do the same thing, OSM, and this one. Before clicking the import, you click the select button. So clicking the select button, select is going to open a new area. So you can choose whichever area you want. You can zoom in and go to whichever area you want, or you can search from here. You can search, not sure which, this is a very good city to have all this data. Okay, yeah, it's good. I don't know if it has a building data. Yeah, it has some building data, and you can change this image overlay to Bing satellite, and you can see if it has much. Okay, it has some height difference here also. So I think that's good. So I'm going to use this area. Show selection rectangle. Yeah, only small area. So copy and use here, paste. So that's going to this. Before importing the OpenStreet, click this one. And if you want, I am going to use the terrain option first. That is very important if you want all the height details for the terrain. So just click import. It is going to take some time depending on the areas. So it already came. So you cannot see anything here. It's because we are zoomed out depending on the coordinates. So go to here, view, and frame all. So this already framed, but you cannot still see it because you have to go to view and change the focal length, the clip end value. You increase it to 10,000 or 1 lakh. So that's going to show you your terrain, and you can see it has a height detail. So very basic height details. And if I use the wireframe, so you can see this very simple mesh plane with the little bit of displacement going on, but you cannot change that height or anything here. I didn't find options here, but only all these are pre-made. So not like GIS plugin, which has a displacement modifier and textured options, but I don't know, I didn't find that. Okay, so in the object mode, now we need to import the image or the satellite image, aerial image. So click select the terrain, click the terrain to image overlay. Do not change anything. You can use here, you can see overlay which satellite data if you want to use. If you want the same satellite data I show you, like in the map box, you can use the default one. But if you want the OpenStreet style, like this style, you can use that option, like OSM Mapnik also. Or if you have your own, if you want to download some extra details, you can click that custom URL. So it's you need to put that URL here, but keep in mind that you have to follow some rules that is described inside the OpenStreetMap server. So you have to you have to read all the details in the wiki page, and you have to put that same. So don't change that. I'm going to use only the Mapbox satellite. Click import. Okay, so to take some time to import all this image. So this is after importing, so it took I think around 3 minutes to import all the satellite image data. So if I going to use the textured viewport view, and you can see this not a high resolution image compared to the GIS plugin. If you already watched my video, a previous video about Blender GIS high resolution map data, if you don't, you can go and there watch, and you can see how much quality that plugin provide. But still this is very acceptable for creating FCD. So you can see it has height map and the texture map. Now we are going to import the buildings. I don't think so it has a lot of buildings are there, but still I will use the OpenStreetMap. Now do not change anything here. We are going to use the same coordinates. Now you can use the same terrain, and we are going to use the 3D option because we are going to place all the buildings on top of this terrain data. So it will pinpoint, it will be the pinpoint arrangement on top of the height map or the terrain. You can click the import railways option also, and in this one you have to check. If you want on the flat building only, you can use that flat. That will be very minimalistic. But if you want all the roof shapes, you can use the gabled option. So the level, height, all these things keep default, but if you want to change, you can experiment with that, or you can go to the Blender or OSM help page and change, see what is these things going on. So another thing, you have to make sure that you have to keep enable this as a single object. If you bring a larger area, see if I use like this one all separated, Blender cannot handle like this. Blender is going to die. So that you have to keep in mind, that you have to use only a single object and bring all the data, experiment that, and do the same thing again, and that time you can turn off this option and see how things works. So this is very simple scene. There is nothing to change if you turn on or off. So that not for this scene, but I'm talking about much larger area. And the existing georeferencing, you don't turn on this option, because if you change this, your building is going to be placed somewhere else, so it won't calculate the exact coordinates. So you can leave all this default. And the subdivision, it's also very important. If you are using the terrain, keep the subdivision like this, so that all the road data is perfectly matched on the curvature of the terrain. If you decrease a lot of low options, so your car won't fit. That's it. Just click import and wait for some time. So I will told you, depending on the area, it will take some time. Okay, so it's a very small area. It's already finished importing, and you can see all the different rope shapes are enabled, and the buildings are on top of, and there will be a little bit difference because how the OSM works and the image data for the satellite image work. So there will be little bit offsetting. You can always adjust that later. I'm not going to show you all these things. Okay, so we have road. You can change the color. Where is it? So you can change the road color. I'm going to use something. Okay, so you can see all this. There are different roads networks you can change. You can increase decrease all the scaling also. I already discussed that. And so this is green vegetation, and you can, if you are using the base version, you can always populate that inside the particle. You can add particles and you can populate trees there. And buildings also, you can change the color of shapes. So all these are single buildings, but if you bring it as a separate, that is going to give you different. So depending on the area, it's going to give you different wall and roof, and I will show you that in the New York scene. See, it has a different color for the buildings. I'm just turn off this wireframe, so it can see different color, different shaped buildings. So this is much higher much higher application for this plugin. So in a tutorial I cannot show you all this because it's taking too much time to load all this data. Once loaded, it's very fast, and if I can show you what is inside all these buildings. So I'm going to check that buildings, and you can see it's more than 99 data. So you can see a wall, so I can change it to white. See, all come white. And the roof, some roofs I can change. See, and these are based for the separate the specific building. So there will be some color of white, blue, gray, and some numbers also. So it's all depending on which color coordinates. So you can use this hashtag or the Photoshop or the Adobe color code. And there will be a color web color code. You can put that and find which color this represents, and there is a black and all this, but it only depending on if the data is available inside the OpenStreetMap server. So this is the New York scene, and for this one is Paris, and this one I created using different OSM. That means I selected one area, bring that, and select the adjusting area. So you have to I will show you that. This, if you want to download all this data, you have to keep very small, and you can go a little bit higher, something like that, and see how much coordinates this is going to be taken. And you have to take a note on these coordinates. Then after importing all these things, you can go another area, import that, then next area. That way I imported this whole Paris city, and that's also have a lot of data. If I go this area, that one, which one, maybe I don't know. Okay, this one. Okay, OSM building. So you can see a lot of materials. So it's getting some time, and you don't need just object model. So you can select the roof and change the color here also. Red wall color, from you can use white. All this you can change. So this is a very good plugin. And the river, all things you can change. Material, color, not only the color, you can add material, and you can populate the vegetation also. All these things works pretty good. So another thing I want to show you is this one another area I used. So based on the height, so it has a lot of mountain sections going on. So all this you can add and create a good city using this plugin. And one more thing I want to tell you, that you can always watch the Blender GIS plugin. I already covered that in the 2 videos. You can watch that and how that plugin works also, and you can always get a high resolution map data, like from Bing or the Google image, satellite image data, and you can watch that tutorial how to extract that. You can put on top of this. So if you use the same coordinates, you can get that same area, and you can put this you replace the texture for here, or you can even replace the terrain also. So these 2 plugin, it's something similar, because all the geo referencing and geo coordinating are almost same for certain areas. So you can copy paste from one, that from GIS data to the OSM scene, and you can mix 2 scene and you can create a little greater city. So even both are free, you can try that. And if you are very much interested with this plugin, you can buy the premium version and support the development, or you can always donate to some amount by downloading the plugin again and put some amount there, and that is it. So I think you learned something, and this will help you creating some interesting cities or interesting story or game, whichever you want you can create. And that's it. Thank you for watching. For me, CG. And if you like this video, you can click the like button, and you can share this video, and if you want you can always subscribe, and you can put a comment about the same thing. For this video you can put some comments. If you don't like you can put that, and there is always 2 button. You can click the like button or don't like button. You can watch. If you don't like my voice and my pronunciation, my English, you can always click the mute button and watch all this, and it's pretty straightforward. So, or you can go for another video. There are a lot of YouTube videos covering all these things, but they are very fast, and they will show you only the essence. So you can watch that and you can follow that, or you can watch my videos. That's upon you. So I stopped worrying about my videos, my channel videos or anything. Just I'm not going to make anything special, but I make whatever I'm interested and whatever I want to show you. If it is going to help you, I'm very glad. If it's very not helpful, or it's making very boring, I'm sorry for that. Anyway, keep watching, and have a nice day.